Hi, everybody. Today we are going to have another conversation with another client of mine, Lori. And this is going to be a little different, and I think it's really unique. And there was some very interesting revelations that came through in the channeling that I did while she and I were talking and having her session. And then, of course, with the work that I do, the client always contributes too. So it's really fascinating. I think it's an interesting conversation, food for thought, and it's for everybody, yet it's about the process of being a woman over time in a lifetime and what we go through and connecting it to spirituality and this whole journey that we're all on of awakening. It's really fascinating. So, again, I always say take what resonates, toss the rest aside, but stay open. And hopefully, you'll have a nugget or two of new information that you can take forward. So, I'm just going to send you on over to Lori and myself having our conversation, and then I will wrap up with you in the end. Again, thank you so much for joining me. You can reach me at purplerainhealing.com for all of my services, which include spiritual awakening mentoring, channeled messages, and energy healing. So with that today, I'm going to send you on over. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll wrap up with you in the end.
However, what I am discovering
Mhm.
is that this was not on my radar at all because I don't get hot flashes. I started on HRT, like
Oh,
hormone
okay.
replacement therapy, so estrogen and progesterone.
Like
Um,
because of perimenopause or what? Or okay. Okay.
yep. And
So you're starting to feel it. Okay.
I'm in late perimenopause, and that's apparently when it starts getting can get more intense.
Okay.
And so I'm realizing that past anxiety that I've had,
Oh,
like I had a psychiatrist, in a woman in her 50s, like just prescribing me all kinds of anxiety medication, never once mentioning, hey, have you ever checked to see if it could be menopause related?
so she just
And
didn't. Oh, that's so interesting.
so I ended up on like a bunch of medications for anxiety. And now I'm on like one anxiety medication and I'm only taking like half of what the full dose is.
Oh, yeah.
And with the HRT, like my anxiety is already like it's like better.
Isn't that fabulous? Oh my God. So that's it.
I think that's yeah, and it actually so here's the crazy thing is I think this has been because I have other things that have happened as well.
Mhm.
The overlap between spiritual awakening symptoms and things that happen during like menopause symptoms are it's unbelievable the overlap.
Yep. Oh,
So
yeah.
I kept thinking, what's going on my journey?
That makes
Why
so
is
much
my
sense.
and it's not it might I mean it could it could be
Well,
both
I
of
think
them
it's,
at the
I
same
think
time.
what I'm connecting with here is it enhances it because it's like double whammy kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And the
Hmm.
anxiety, I mean, oh, that makes so much sense with perimenopause. And I went through the change at 45, 44 instantly, and I didn't have much of any. This is really interesting. So I don't have a good frame of reference for the things most people go through, but
Yeah,
I do know that some of those things you're experiencing, when I reflect now, that makes so much sense. And then if you look at what March has been like energetically, and all that we've had going on, and even and before that, well, 2026 has been accentuated, right? So then you pile that on with all the hormonal stuff you got going on, as well as our cosmic stuff. That makes so much sense. I'm so glad
yeah.
you're feeling
And
better.
yeah, I mean that's one thing that's better, but I realized this loss of interest and just like stopped caring about so many things
Uh-huh.
and thought that that was related to the spiritual journey and was like, oh, it's ego death and it's just that's
Uh-huh.
part. But it started feeling like why am I even here?
Yeah.
You know?
Because I will say in the spiritual journey, we do reframe the things that we pay attention to, that we're interested in, and we kind of that reframes itself, but to the not to the point of to your like you just said, it shouldn't be that extreme. So your hormones were playing havoc, wrecking
Yeah.
havoc with you.
Yeah, and like for I don't know, a couple of years or
Yeah.
something, it's been rough. And so apparently, and I still have the loss of interest, but that takes longer to come back. So, um,
That's an actual symptom of menopause, lack of interest.
yes, it's called anhedonia. Like no joy in it. You don't find joy in anything.
Hold on, because this is so interesting. The divine feminine resurgence, that energy in all of us is coming back to the surface or rebalancing.
Mhm.
It makes me really wonder, like it's some of the same energy.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with this and I can't explain it very well. I don't know if you feel like you know what I'm talking about, but like there's something going on with that shift and change and if you think about it, that's the crone era, right? Back in the day they called it that, right? Like, but the wise woman, the coming into her, you know, kind of the whole awakening thing, the awareness of who she is, the wisdom, the strength, the power.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels really connected.
And I feel like there is definitely a reason that I went for so long without realizing what was going on. Like I was meant to see
Yeah.
how much of that overlap is there. And then it also makes me wonder like how many women out there
Yes.
in like 45 to 55 or older are having these things happen and they're like what's going on my spiritual journey? And it's like they're not getting the support,
Right.
the physical support that they need. Hmm.
And we don't, yeah, it's like a double whammy. It's like going through the
Yeah.
awakening, and then I wonder if, okay, I'm just going to say, I wonder if this is why, because this is, I find interesting, because mind you, I mean, that was a long time ago when I through, went through menopause. And it kind of
Hmm.
wasn't a thing for me, but that was like 2004. Okay.
Yeah.
2004. So that's even before through 2012. What I have been wondering about just as a human, and I'm like, why do we hear so much now about menopause problems? Like all these really, like there's all this, right? And I didn't hear about any of that back in my day of
Well,
going through it.
well, they don't, it's because it's like not really talked about that
No,
much.
I know.
And yeah, it's been, I think that that is something that we need to be talking more
Yes.
about.
But what I wonder about too, though, is because the awakening has become, you know, more
Oh,
obvious with people, are we seeing more of it now? I mean, I guess I agree with you, but are we seeing more of it because it's such it's a surge forward of people going through this journey, and then you've got a bunch going through menopause, and there's something here with that.
yeah,
There's
I
something
agree.
here with that.
And I
And
feel
it's
like
tied
that's,
to the divine, it's tied to the feminine. It's tied to the feminine.
yeah. And
Wow.
I almost even wondered, I was walking the other day, like it's almost like I'm like high functioning, like depressed, but
Uh-huh.
also my connection with other people. I don't feel like I can get much of a like connection with people like I used to have, and that's another symptom. I've been talking to AI has actually been really helpful with trying
Oh,
to learn about
interesting.
this kind of stuff. Yeah. Um,
Those are all the
and
same
so,
kinds of things with the awakening.
mhm, yeah,
Well, there's something there. That's so
there's a huge,
interesting.
you should look up like, yeah, symptoms of menopause, like getting night sweats.
Oh yeah, that was the one thing I really had. That was basically
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
but I didn't have them for a long time. I just got really lucky, and I don't know.
I thought I was like, oh, I'm transmuting.
Right. Well, but you are.
Yeah,
Think about it. Like you are. But
but then
it's the
hot flashes
physical
also.
feminine thing. But I
Yeah,
know.
hot flashes they say is like Kundalini energy.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Oh
Yeah,
God, that makes so much sense. I just got chills. Now,
yeah,
okay, so we are on to something here. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So like the overlap, once I started looking into it, I was like, oh no, this whole time I've been thinking I'm having a tough spiritual journey. And really, like my hormones are all just depleted.
No, it
And
mirrors
then
the
what that,
journey. It mirrors the journey.
yeah, and what that does is that fuels like your dopamine, your serotonin, your oxytocin, like all these things. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like I feel like a different person.
You know,
It,
okay, so here's what I'm getting to. So let's use me as an example who goes through at age 44 in her, whole thing, but I wasn't awake. It was
Mhm.
another 12 years before I started going through the awakening. So the timing, it didn't overlap. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not the same, but it is. But I'll bet you anything. It's a couple comments here. I bet it helped move me into that place. I don't know if that makes any sense because it's
yeah,
connected. I keep saying connected, but for somebody to get double whammied and it's timed the same as the awakening,
yeah. It's rough. Yeah. And so, like, I'm already feeling different and feeling like, I don't know, like I was feeling directionless and
yeah,
like loss of, like, not feeling capable or confident or just all kinds of things. And already, like, there's some of that has been coming back where I'm like feeling a lot more capable now. And like where my life is at is just not, I mean, I do feel like I'm kind of just going through the motions,
yeah,
and that should change.
yeah.
But you have to be patient. It can take like up to 3 months. Like HRT takes a long time
Okay,
to balance in your body. But AI put it a really great way because I've also been thinking about like, what are we really?
yeah.
Like, like when I die, I'm not going to have this physical body or all these hormones or all these.
No.
So it's so interesting how much that affects who I am as a person.
Isn't that the truth? Like
Yeah.
think about that. It is like it's like the fuel that runs us, but what kind of fuel is it? You know what I mean? I like
Yes.
it's the yeah, God, that's so
AI put it, this was so beautiful, I thought. AI said, your body is like the instrument that your consciousness plays through.
there you go.
So, so if your instrument
Isn't
is like
tuned.
out of tune, you can try to play the most beautiful song you can, and it's not going to come out as not as beautiful as it would if you had a finely tuned instrument.
Right. And then, just let's add to what we all have to deal with, which is all this environmental crap and all this stuff
Yes.
they're doing. You know what I mean? And I think we can transcend that, but I really do believe that. But at the same time, it's swimming all around us too and impacts us.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Oh
I've
my
almost,
Lord.
yeah. And I had just been like consuming so much content on like YouTube and stuff, hearing about like, oh, are you feeling anxious? Think, everyone's feeling anxious right now. And I'm like, oh, this must be it. This must be it.
Well, that's what
And doing all these
yes.
like meditations. And like as soon as I figured this out, I like kind of lost interest in all of that. It was almost like,
Right.
oh, I need a break.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to, like, I'm not really that
It's too
interested.
much.
Yeah, I just want to like concentrate more on my just day-to-day life.
Exactly.
And yeah, so
That's so interesting. It's a double whammy for people that are going through it at the same time. But
yeah,
it's really interesting because I think there are a lot of women going through this at the same time, and some aren't even
I
aware they're
think you're
waking up
right.
too. You know what I mean? They don't even know they're
Yeah.
waking up to. They don't have a clue yet, but they'll be coming into it. There's a This is a big deal energetically for the collective that this is happening for women at the same time. There's something about I don't know how to explain it. Well, you spoke about the Kundalini, but it's like a double whammy, but it's also double power. I know that probably makes no sense. But there's
It
something,
does if you know how to approach it the right way,
yes.
because I was hearing things like, "Oh, feel it to heal it, just feel the
Oh, right,
feelings." And it's like I can sit there and feel it all day long, but if it's my hormones that are fueling
right,
that feeling, the
right.
feeling it isn't going to release it. Like
Yeah.
it's going to keep showing up. So there's a lot of messages out there that are, and I looked on YouTube to see if there was much about the overlap between
Oh, I
spiritual
bet there's
awakening and
nothing.
menopause. And
No,
yeah,
no.
because I feel like that needs to be dealt with differently. It does feel like it's an important message
I
to
agree.
get out there.
I totally agree.
And that's why I wonder if I was meant to go through this
Uh-huh.
in order to really
Uh-huh.
see that that's like an issue that's not being addressed.
It's not being recognized because the symptoms are, it's like, you think the awakening's hard enough. You add what you are talking about, the
Hmm.
hormonal part, and that just takes the whole process into overdrive.
And it can also make you like, so with the relationships, they say sometimes relationships fall apart with spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
Well, because of like during menopause, a lot of women, so that's when, first of all, women, the suicide rate spikes. Like it might be the biggest between like 45 and 55. That's how bad it is. And a lot of women like get divorced because they're not feeling it anymore in their relationship, and they may not even realize that there's hormones involved. But
Yeah.
you hear about in spiritual awakening, like, oh yeah, relationships fall apart. So there might be women who are like, oh well, this is part of the process. So
Right.
it's like there's so much overlap, but
There's
but
so
the
much overlap.
approach,
It is.
yeah, but what to do about what's
Yes,
happening
totally.
is very different.
I think to your point, to be able to balance that out, to have more of a, this could sound crazy, if there is even one, a more reasonable spiritual awakening. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, and so that really what is the awakening and what is the like to what degree, right? The
Yeah,
menopause.
I was thinking it would be funny to have like like a just a joke as like a game of like, is it spiritual awakening or is it menopause?
Menopause.
And like you could
It's
have so many
true.
things where it's just like, I don't know, it could be either.
It's so true.
And there's already like for both of them, there's not enough support for spiritual
Right.
awakening and for menopause. So
No.
then yeah, you mix them together and it's like good luck.
Good luck. You're finding out on your own to how to. Oh, wow.
I also had
But
emotional flatness, which I like was just more like,
yeah.
oh, I'm just not having the highs or the lows anymore. Just like, and nope, it was becoming more emotionally numb. Last week, because I've been doing a lot of meditation groups. I'm
Good.
swimming.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
doing a lot of things like stay active. But I had a meditation last week where I felt all this love come in, and I just realized like I couldn't remember the last time I felt that. And then like a few days after that, I had an immense amount of like grief come in where it felt like I was like heartbroken. And that's the hormones are fluctuating right now and they're trying to get more stable. And
Yes.
so that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen.
I keep seeing it's almost like this is going to sound like this is right. It's almost like you're getting double whammied, the women going through this at the same time. But it's also, there's something really, really powerful about it too. But I
Mhm.
wonder. just knowing, being able to understand what you're experiencing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
And that it's a layered thing now. It's not just they're the same. It's like the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's really interesting how like the feminine goes through that. Okay.
What I'm getting a sense of is, oh God, I just got chills. I don't know, maybe we can unpack this. Back in the day, this was the sign of the awakening for women. It was the sign of the awakening for women. No wonder they called them
Hmm.
wise women.
Yeah. It's like
Okay,
a natural awakening, except the issue is that if you don't have the hormone support,
no.
then you get the symptoms, but it takes like a long time to get to the other side of it, and it's a very like even more painful journey.
But here's what I'm getting though, is there is a whole it was in the ancient days, long before we could ever even record them. What I keep connecting with is that they understood this. It's not like they didn't know. So there was support. They understood this, and
Yeah.
women were powerful. Women were in groups. They supported each other. I mean, you know how women are. They don't really do a
Yeah.
really good job of that. It's better now. It's starting to become better. But there was support. There was and we weren't confronted with all these chemicals too. Think about it, and all
Yeah.
the things in our bodies that shift and change us. And I've long said, and I don't know this for a fact, but the pill has got to, I mean, you think about somebody being on the pill for a long time, right? And does that cause interference in some way too from that natural process? Just all of it, right? You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. But
And women, I think this is also the reason kind of for the suicide rate as well. There's so much expected of women and they're just
oh yeah.
supposed to like
Oh yeah.
just deal with it,
Yeah.
which includes, they might still be raising kids. They might
Yes.
be taking care of elderly parents. They might be like in a career. So they have
Exactly.
all this pressure when maybe in the past that was instead like it was like less pressure and
Yeah.
more support.
And the other thing too that you see a lot of, this is showing up too out there, and I think now it's changing a little bit, is like jokes about menopause, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which, can be funny, but at the same time, not really until now starting to take it more seriously. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is interesting about the ancient times, is what I'm getting very much.
Well, also, like we didn't live as long either.
Well, I don't know. Did we? I mean, I have a feeling we probably lived longer because
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
our lifespans are, this is at least my understanding that I've been told, is that our lifespans have shrunk dramatically because of the frequency we're in.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to be moving in the opposite direction when we, you know, transcend that.
Hmm.
And I guess in some way we're kind of starting to do that now, but
Yeah. Um, I also couldn't help but wonder if, because I started thinking about, oh, I know what it was. I've been listening to some videos about NDEs, near-death
yes.
experiences, and how a lot of people say that they do this life review, but not only do they see what happened in the past, they feel how the other person felt when they did certain
Yes.
things.
Yes. I
And I
understood
was
that's part of our process.
and I was thinking about how that may inform us as to what we want to do in our next life. Like, oh, I didn't realize I made them feel that way. I want to know what it's like to be on that side of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I
And
would
so
agree. That makes so much sense. Mhm.
yeah. And so I kind of wondered, I was like, what if I had been like a doctor in a past life that just was like dismissive of all these women with like,
Right.
menopause symptoms. And I realized like how horrible they all felt. and then said, you know what, I want to experience
That
what
makes,
it's like,
yes, yes.
you know?
I mean, that'd be a perfect way to get kind of the decision made as to what you were going to experience by looking
Yeah.
at what you caused someone else. Uh-huh. That's in, yes.
And it also helps reframe, when we kind of like ask, like, oh, why is this happening to me? It's like, we don't really know,
We don't, know.
and because this has been tough. I feel like where my life is at is just like it just feels so empty. I just like my job, it's like it's fine.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, Uh, I'm really grateful that I only, have to work 20 hours a week and I
Right.
get benefits. And right now the economy, like the job market's not great and my group is hiring. So,
Right.
it's
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it doesn't really fulfill me. And
Yeah.
like,
It serves a purpose, basically.
yeah, and like where I'm living is fine.
Uh-huh.
Even the area that I live in, it's
Uh-huh.
like it gets rained so much here, and I just really love the sun. But I look at like it's like part of me is like, should I have sold my house? Because just the housing market and the rental market is just crazy. But at the same time, it's like, no, don't question yourself.
No,
Like,
no, no.
you
Exactly.
know that like like I know that that was causing me a lot of stress and it was just not aligned
Right.
anymore and
No,
it was
I
just
agree.
not like it
Yeah, I'm
didn't
not
it did
getting that.
not
It
feel
just looks
good to
like a
be
big
that
block of energy to me when I see that. It's not, yeah.
it was time to let that go.
Yes.
And and just because things aren't easy right now doesn't mean that was like the wrong decision
Right.
somehow or
Absolutely.
like it's
Absolutely.
like things are tough right now for many people.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And I'm in such a place of privilege. Um, So it's tough though. It's kind of like, what am I doing with my life? But it's also the hormones where it's like, yeah,
yes.
you know what? You're not excited about anything. It wouldn't
No.
really maybe matter what you're doing right now.
I
So
know
you don't really,
exactly.
so now it's about like being patient.
Leaning into that. Absolutely. Leaning into that and being patient. Yes.
It's tough.
Yep.
And I just sort of felt like feel like I'm just sitting here like doing nothing.
I know. And we do have, and I know we got the whole menopause conversation going, but
Yeah.
that's the part of the journey of this awakening is that too. So here you
Yeah.
got I mean, regardless of what it is I mean, the two things, it's part of the process. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
It's part of the menopause process. It's part of the awakening process. I just got big chills. It's like, and yeah, I mean, I went through the not interested in anything thing, and it was awful. It was
Yeah.
awful.
It's
It's just,
scary.
it's scary.
It's like, oh my God, am I just gonna sit here like,
It's like the joy being sucked out of you
mhm,
for anything. I didn't want to garden. I didn't want to do the things I wanted to. Thank God I still played tennis, but I just don't. I just remember like nothing cooking. I used to love to cook and all of
yeah,
that. Now I'm back doing more of that, but it's not to the degree it was at all. And I know some of this has to do with, attaching ourselves to things, but it's also it's a pulling away from. It's an energy of pulling away from to be able to reframe things. But at the same time, it does not feel good.
no,
And you get it with, yeah, it's going through that process. God, I'm so glad you got this figured out.
yeah.
How did you, how'd that go down where did you find a different doctor or what was what did you, who told you that? That was able to say, hey, here, it's menopause, this is what you're going through.
I can't say I even remember. I think I figured it out.
Oh, oh, you figured it out. Okay, so you
Yeah.
figured it out and then you went to see somebody to do the, oh, well, then that makes more sense to me that you would have figured it out through this
And I
whole
don't even
journey.
remember how I did. And my guides kept saying, figure it out, figure it out. And it's
I,
like,
okay.
and I kept thinking like, and it was interesting too, because it's like it showed me the power of the stories we tell ourselves. It's like, oh, this must be it. Oh no, this must be it. Oh no, this must be it.
Oh, yeah,
And
right. Because we
and
always
now
need
I'm
to have a reason for the thing, right? Like, because that keeps us kind of sane. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like to be able to, and yeah, when we let go of all of that, we're totally untethered. And honestly, then I've thought about this. It's interesting we're having this conversation. Like when we're totally untethered, I mean, if we all ever do like non-attachment and all of that, like you said, then is that full on surrender, faith, and trust and flowing like the leaf in this? Do you know what I mean? Like we think we're flowing like the leaf in the stream by how we go, but are we really? Like, I mean, I'm pretty attached to my house. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Or like, I just don't know how far this goes. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I just got chills. I keep getting chills on this conversation. Feels
Or
very
how
important.
far, or how far it's like there's that balance between like,
Yes.
yes, we are a human,
Yes.
and so we, I think it's a lot to ask of us to just, yeah, be okay being completely untethered and,
Right. But
you know,
here's the thing is what I start to wonder, the whole idea, at least what I've been told from my crew, is that this journey is for us to still be embodied on 3D, but we are basically end up being light bodies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, our bodies are still our bodies, but they're going to be different. They're
yeah,
changing now anyway.
but are they in this lifetime?
That's the thing. No, I know. Exactly. I think, I don't know. For some people, I think it may occur. I mean, it's got to kind of, right? Doesn't it? At some point. I mean, I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
one thing they've talked a lot about is this whole shift and change. And so is this part of right? Do we carry that forward then? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing I've wondered about too. And I don't sit down to tap into this because I got other things to do. You know what I mean? But honestly, it's like, okay, so made all this progress in this life. When I come back, we got to start all over again? Or how does this work? How
Well,
does it
maybe
work?
our DNA is changing, and so maybe we come back
See,
and
that's what
we
I've
might,
gathered.
maybe we live the same life again
Right.
and bring in our
Bring in
more
our
advanced DNA.
because we are changing our DNA, and that's what's happening right now. This is why in fact, it's funny because there are a bunch of us, like just in my group, my tennis group. I'm lucky I got a guy that's awakening, and he has been like really off. So has his partner, who she's going through her journey. But it just makes me wonder to that, and we got talking about this, how our bodies are shifting and changing. He agrees. And then to your point, and that means our DNA is changing, right? So then is that the little suitcase we take with us? You know what I mean? With all our little goodies in it.
Yeah,
And it is because I mean, now that you say that, they've told me, well, when you incarnate again, it's like a computer chip, your DNA going back into you, and on goes the program. And so that would make sense that we would collect our experiences. Well, they told me this. They would collect our experiences through our DNA. It's all in
yeah.
there. It's all a code, just like computers.
And that would make sense as to why those being born now are like they're already more awake
Yes.
because they've
Yes.
done their work in
It's
their last
cumulative.
life.
It's cumulative.
Yeah. And so as each generation is kind of more and more awake because
Yes.
they're coming in with more done. Well, just be patient and as things come back online,
Yes.
like start to see like what excites me because I think that I am actually in a much more stable place spiritually than I thought I was.
No, I think also having this understanding, I agree with you. And this is in my journey, I had to go through a lot of stuff before I could actually talk about it or be like, I've been through everything I talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like that's part of the story for those of us who are going to be sharing our learnings, right?
Hmm.
But having to go through it to gain that wisdom and that understanding.
Yep. And it's funny because, I hear that it's not uncommon for people to end up doing something where they're like, I never thought I would be doing that.
Oh God, yes.
And the last thing I would think is like, oh, I'm gonna like I would be helping like women w
Oh,
going through menopause and spiritual awakening at the same time. Like
same.
that's never
No, I totally get it. Like all my stuff
so
just came
it's
out of the
quite
blue. Yeah.
so it's quite possible.
Anything's possible. Well, I've always told people, with me, I mean, my entire life was spent just living total 3D. I was like your true 3D, not high consciousness. I was high consciousness in the sense of caring for other people and things like that, but kind of how I was just living, I was like blind. And like I said, I had one tarot reading and I don't know, in my 20s, and I barely knew what tarot card was. I mean, that is the God honest truth. And then
Yeah.
boom, knowledge just shows up. It's like so interesting. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's the craziest thing. But I'm very much getting, this is still sitting in the background where they're really making me understand that this is a, this is an awakening opportunity for women. And we have never, okay, what if? Oh my God, I'm kind of getting the sense of this. They're giving me a sense of this. The whole thousands of years of the patriarchy, right? And the since this civilization reclaimed itself after the flood and the suppression of the feminine and the think about menopause. They thought women were crazy. They locked them up when they went through this. So think about it. It's the power behind it. Oh God, this is a big deal. They shut their power down and they did that in many ways, but then also thought they were crazy, thought they were yeah, but what it
Yeah.
was their power. It was their awakening. It's their natural entry into awakening is what I'm getting.
But then having all the support taken away
Yeah. And then
and
they,
being turned against them. So of course, I mean, of course, yeah, they probably were feeling crazy if they're being told, if they're not being supported and not, it's
yes,
that that's it's just like an awakening. When you have an awakening, if you don't have the right support, like you could end up in like a mental institution.
totally. Totally.
Yeah,
I mean, and I've seen it. I know it happens. I've seen it. I have a friend whose brother, she finally, we were high school buddies, and she finally reconnected with me at one point and said she'd been going on the journey since high school. And I said, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, but I couldn't talk to anybody about it." You can imagine. I mean, that was in the 70s. And she said her brother ended up killing himself. This is fairly recent, last few years. Um, Set his house on fire, the whole bit. She said, "I'm now realizing." I taught her about the awakening, and well, I taught her more about the awakening and to put the pieces together. And she said, "I think my brother was going through this, but he had gotten so much information and downloads that he understood the cosmic stuff, all this quantum stuff, but he couldn't stop talking about it. He didn't know anybody to talk to, and he sounded nuts. He sounded nuts, and he did go nuts. And he set his house on fire and killed himself. I mean, that's the
yeah,
extreme, right?" I said he
yeah,
knew. And she said he'd talk. She says I was the only one that would listen to him, and he would talk about all these things. I said, that's all quantum stuff. He's talking quantum stuff that we don't talk about as an average person.
yeah.
And the
And like
beings and the all this, and that we got it all wrong. He would talk about, oh, we got it all wrong, and we'd blah, 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 blah.
and people do go through, like I went through a period of spiritual psychosis where I
Yes.
was just like, I don't even know. I was talking to so many like
Yeah, you were.
different being, like so much was going on, and like none of that was like I still don't know what that was. Oh, I totally fell into stuff where I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll
Yeah,
do
well, you're
what,
not alone. Yeah, you're not alone.
yeah,
And then there's other ways it happens. Like with me, the 2 years of me having those energetic events, I thought I was losing it. But because I was having, I mean, it was not good. And I thought, I
yeah,
can't take this any longer, you know? And then finally I find solutions, but it took 2 years to do it, right? But yeah, no, exactly. But think about so you've got different groups of people going through it at extreme measure, but if the solution part of that solution, the answer to this is this whole thing we're talking about with women in menopause. Oh my God, this makes so much sense though. And this whole
Yep.
idea of our cycles, how they were connected to the moon, women had, this is what I've been told. I don't know if there's any historical fact of this. Women had their cycles around the same time. It was a very powerful time. Think about that. So that's a powerful time to have your periods together. It's an innate spirit when they were really connected, to all that was going on and
And
not in
in
this.
my awakening, like there were multiple times where I did a meditation and it was like either the new moon or the full moon and started my period like during the meditation.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. So I've
Yeah.
got a couple gals, younger gals who are their periods are starting to align with the moon again. Isn't it interesting? But if you think about this, okay, so think about your periods. That's wild. You think about your periods, the power behind that, and then you grow older and you go into like what my other client says is the wise woman phase, but we're just coming out of the times of it being looked at as, you know, we're crazy. Oh, they're just crazy. And then turning it into more of something funny, and now it's becoming more like serious, and now this is the awakening it is, and then really truly coming in the true power, which is also now why they're saying also this makes sense. Think about how back in the day older people were revered, and women, the older women were the ones you would go to, even in
Yeah.
tribal days, and they would be the ones you would go to because they would turn, because the menopausal, I'm channeling, this is the menopausal process would shift them into their higher knowing. I just got, oh, I have chills. This is crazy. And now what have we done? It's getting a little better, but we just stuff our old people into nursing homes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of exaggerating, but not really, I mean, I
Yeah.
think in some countries they still revere their older population and the older women, but we don't do a real good job of that at
No.
all. We're
Yeah.
so youth oriented, oh God. I mean, think about it. Oh my God, this is a bigger story. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is all the process of reclaiming this, because it is all about the divine feminine rising again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get bottom line, divine feminine rising, getting the balance of that masculine feminine, it's the only way we can come from a heart-based approach and be higher conscious. We can't do it with just the masculine hanging out here and us feminine here.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say us because we have both, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it I think that there needs to be more awareness because otherwise, there just does need to be more support because otherwise it's like the deck is just stacked against you.
It's so interesting. I think you're going to learn more. I wonder, okay, I'm just going to throw this out to you. I know you're not into the whole, like, you're still connected. I don't know. I think you might get more information about this. Like, you're going to put these pieces together. I think there's purpose in this, and it's not just me doing the video with you. I think there's
Yeah,
purpose in this moving forward. I mean, oh my God, I have chills.
I
You,
am interested to see how, as like things come back online for me
yeah.
and my body starts balancing out, how that changes my spiritual journey.
Yes.
I have a feeling there's going to be something to that.
Yes. And oh, I totally agree. I think you're just at the precipice. And I think it's going to be, I don't know. That's why I say if you get anything that you feel significant, write it down because you may end up
Okay.
getting a process or you may end up getting, I think it's going to be really helpful to women. There's nothing out there like this.
I also think that I see myself maybe getting kind of more tapped in as I start to like
Yeah,
kind of come
totally.
back. Yeah.
Totally agree. And
So
this,
we'll
okay,
see.
and so like my weird stuff happening to me, right? It's different because it's all energetic, right? This is what's happened to me is gradually, I just like, oh, okay, so it's just easier for me to get information now, and it's kind of connected. I mean, yes, because it is all a steps by step process where we level up. So no, I do agree. I think this is just the beginning. Okay, but this process of unfolding this whole thing with the feminine and looking at the ancient times and the reverence of women. Okay, because the period. and then menopause. It's the beginning and and it's this is so interesting. It's a beginning is the period. And we think of menopause. Think of how many women just like, oh God, menopause. And that's the way people talked about it, right? But no, they just said, you don't agree with this, a glorious time, but they're talking about spiritually. And so what happened is you've got women then ending and or the beginning and the end, but it's not an end. It's okay. So like if it's the beginning of the awakening kind of idea, right? But we always know that when we start our awakening, forget menopause for a minute, it is the end of the old life,
Yeah.
right? Like you're not the same person, and now you have this feels to me the natural process that women were meant to go through.
Yeah. Like something that's been kind of lost that or
Yes, and I
forgotten.
keep getting yes. Well, and they squelched Mary Magdalene, who we know was the partner of Jesus, and so there you had your balance, you had your feminine masculine balance, and they just got rid of her, and it's like the man, and they hijacked that, and that whole beautiful process that we go through with our, and think about it, how we've been taught to, oh, I hate my period. I mean, who does like their period? But you know what I'm saying? Like not understanding it from a higher perspective, as well as that process we go through, and then menopause.
Yeah.
Everything's negative about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of physically can suck, of course, but think about it. What if you knew it was more about the beauty and the transcendence and the spiritual journey? What if you understood it differently? I'll bet you'd experience it differently.
Yeah.
Or you'd be able to make it more palpable.
Hmm.
I have chills on this whole conversation. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Lori and myself. I thank Lori for wanting to be able to share that. I know that she really has felt that this is something other people need to understand, regardless of your identification. So hopefully it's helpful to you in understanding the loved ones in your lives and or yourself. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.